Presented by Better Life Library. Prologue, the first step toward rebuilding. Life has a way of shaking us to our core. Sometimes the shift is sudden, a job loss, a heartbreak, a betrayal, or a personal failure. Other times it creeps in slowly, like an unshakable feeling of dissatisfaction, a quiet realization that something isn't right. No matter how you arrived at this moment, you're here because you know deep down that something needs to change. The good news? You have the power to rebuild. Rebuilding yourself isn't about erasing your past or pretending the pain never existed. It's about taking what life has thrown at you, every hardship, every setback, every scar, and using it as raw material to create something stronger, wiser, and more resilient. It's about reclaiming control, rewriting your story, and stepping into the version of yourself that you were always meant to be. This journey won't be easy. Growth never is. There will be moments of doubt, resistance, and discomfort. But those are the moments that matter most, the ones where you push through, where you refuse to settle, where you prove to yourself that you are capable of more. Through the pages of this book, you'll discover how to break free from limiting beliefs, build resilience, rediscover your purpose, and create a life that reflects your true potential. Each chapter is designed to guide you step by step, offering insights, strategies, and motivation to help you rebuild from the inside out. But before we begin, there's one truth you must embrace. You are not broken. You may feel lost, hurt, or unsure of what's next, but you are whole, capable, and worthy of transformation. This is not the end of your story. It's the start of a new chapter. Take a deep breath. This is your moment. This is where the rebuilding begins. Let's get started. Chapter 1, Rock Bottom, the starting point of change. At some point in life, we all face moments that bring us to our knees. It could be the collapse of a dream, the loss of a loved one, financial devastation, or the crushing weight of disappointment. Maybe you've woken up one day and realized you don't recognize the person in the mirror anymore. You feel stuck, broken, and unsure of what comes next. This is rock bottom, and while it may feel like the lowest point of your life, it's also the place where true transformation begins. Rock bottom forces us to confront truths we may have been avoiding. It strips away the illusions we once clung to and forces us to see things as they are, not as we wish them to be. But here's the secret that most people don't realize. Rock bottom is not the end. It's the foundation on which you can build something stronger, something new. The first step toward rebuilding yourself is accepting where you are, without shame or self-judgment. Denial will keep you trapped in the cycle of pain, but acceptance will set you free. This chapter is about shifting your perspective, understanding that rock bottom isn't a punishment but an opportunity. It's an invitation to let go of what no longer serves you and start creating the life you truly want. Acceptance without shame. One of the hardest parts of hitting rock bottom is admitting that you're there. Society teaches us to avoid failure, to pretend we have it all together, to mask our struggles behind a smile. But real healing begins the moment you stop running from your truth and embrace where you are, without shame, without guilt, without judgment. Why acceptance matters. When you refuse to accept your reality, you stay stuck in a loop of frustration and denial. You waste energy resisting instead of rebuilding. Acceptance doesn't mean you like where you are. It means you recognize your current situation for what it is, so you can take the necessary steps to change it. How to accept your reality. 1. Drop the self-blame. Stop seeing your situation as a reflection of your worth. Mistakes, failures, and hardships do not define you. 2. Be honest with yourself. Take an unfiltered look at your life. What led you here? What patterns have kept you stuck? Honesty is the first step to growth. 3. Release the need for external validation. Stop worrying about how others perceive your struggles. Your journey is yours alone. 4. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend going through a difficult time. Acceptance isn't weakness, it's power. The moment you own your reality, you take the first step toward changing it. The power of surrender. At rock bottom, we often feel an overwhelming need to control everything. Our emotions, outcomes, the opinions of others. We believe that if we just try harder, push more, or force things to work, we can climb out of our struggle. But this need for control can actually make things worse. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means releasing the illusion that you can control everything and instead focusing on what you can change. Your mindset, your actions, and your response to life's challenges. When you surrender, you Let go of resistance, which allows healing to begin. Stop holding on to toxic situations or people that no longer serve you. Open yourself up to new possibilities instead of clinging to what's familiar but unhealthy. How to let go and surrender. 1. Identify what's outside your control. Make a list of what you can't change and consciously decide to stop fighting against it. 2. Trust the process. Growth is uncomfortable, and sometimes things have to fall apart before they can be rebuilt. 3. Embrace uncertainty. You don't need to have all the answers right now. The path will reveal itself as you take action. 4. Focus on the next right step. Instead of trying to fix everything at once, just focus on the one small action you can take today. The moment you surrender is the moment you stop fighting life and start flowing with it. And that's when true change begins. Reframing failure as opportunity. For many people, rock bottom feels like proof that they've failed. But what if failure isn't an ending? It's a redirection. Failure is a teacher, not a verdict. Failure forces you to learn, to grow, and to adapt. Some of the greatest successes in history were built on the foundation of failure. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. J.K. Rowling was rejected by multiple publishers before Harry Potter became a worldwide phenomenon. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is their perspective on failure. How to reframe your failures in 3 steps. Step 1. Look for the lesson. Every setback carries wisdom. What can you learn from this experience? Step 2. Stop personalizing failure. Failing at something doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you tried, and now you have the chance to try again smarter. Step 3. Recognize that failure clears the path for something better. Sometimes what feels like failure is just life removing something that wasn't meant for you. Rock bottom is not your final destination. It's just part of your journey. If you're willing to see failure as a stepping stone instead of a stopping point, you'll realize that this is where your greatest transformation begins. The foundation for rebuilding. You may not have chosen to hit rock bottom, but you do get to choose what happens next. This chapter has laid the groundwork for transformation. Accepting where you are without shame. A letting go of the need to control everything. A reframing failure as an opportunity for growth. Rock bottom isn't the end, it's a new beginning. The question now is, what will you build from here? In the next chapter, we'll dive into the deeper patterns and beliefs that may have led you here in the first place. Because true rebuilding starts from the inside out. Chapter 2. Breaking the Chains of Limiting Beliefs. What if the biggest thing standing in your way isn't your circumstances, but your own mind? From the moment we're born, we start absorbing beliefs from our parents, teachers, culture, and personal experiences. Some of these beliefs empower us, but others silently work against us, keeping us stuck in self-doubt, fear, and stagnation. These are called limiting beliefs, and they are the invisible chains that hold us back from becoming who we are meant to be. Maybe you've heard yourself say things like, "I'm just not good enough. Success isn't for people like me. I always mess things up. I'm too old, too young, too inexperienced, too broken." These statements might feel like truths, but they're actually just stories that can be rewritten. The good news? You are not your limiting beliefs. They are learned, which means they can be unlearned. In this chapter, we'll uncover the hidden narratives shaping your life, learn how to challenge the self-doubt that holds you back, and rewrite a new, empowering identity. Identifying your inner narrative. The first step to breaking free from limiting beliefs is recognizing them. If you don't know what's holding you back, you can't change it. Where do limiting beliefs come from? It should be childhood conditioning. What were you told about success, failure, and self-worth growing up? Or perhaps your past failures. One bad experience can make you believe you'll always fail. It could also be societal expectations. The pressure to fit into a mold can make you doubt your uniqueness. Finally, it could be coming from your negative self-talk. The repeated thoughts you tell yourself become your reality. How to identify your limiting beliefs. 1. Pay attention to your self-talk. What negative thoughts come up when you think about your goals? 2. Look for patterns. Do you keep hitting the same roadblocks in life? What beliefs might be causing them? 3. Ask why 5 times. When you have a negative thought, ask, why do I believe that? Keep digging until you reach the root of the belief. For example, I'll never be successful. Why? Because I've failed before. Why does that mean I can't succeed now? Because I don't believe I'm capable. Why? Because I've never seen anyone like me succeed. Why does that mean I can't be the first? By questioning your beliefs, you strip them of their power. Once you see them clearly, you can start changing them. Challenging self-doubt. Self-doubt is a voice that whispers, "You can't do this." And if you listen long enough, you'll start believing it. The science of self-doubt. Your brain is wired to keep you safe. It sees change as a threat, which is why fear and doubt show up when you try to grow. But just because your brain tells you something doesn't mean it's true. How to challenge limiting thoughts. 1. Catch the thought. Notice when self-doubt creeps in. 2. Question it. Ask, is this 100% true? Most of the time, the answer is no. 3. Find evidence against it. Think of times you've succeeded or overcome challenges. 4. Replace it with a new belief. Instead of "I'm not good enough," say, "I am learning and improving every day." Example, rewriting negative beliefs. Old belief, "I'm not smart enough to succeed." New belief, "I can always learn and improve." Success is about effort, not just intelligence. Self-doubt only has power when you believe it without question. The more you challenge it, the weaker it becomes. Creating a new identity. You can't just remove limiting beliefs. You have to replace them with new, empowering ones. To truly rebuild yourself, you must step into a new identity. The power of identity shifts. Your actions are driven by your identity. If you believe you are not good enough, you'll act accordingly. But if you see yourself as strong, capable, and worthy, you'll start making decisions that reflect that belief. How to create a new identity. 1. Decide who you want to be. Write down the traits of your best self: confident, resilient, determined, capable. 2. Act as if you already are that person. If you were already confident and capable, how would you behave? Start doing that now. 3. Use affirmations that reinforce your new identity. Say them daily. Oh, I am strong and capable. Oh, I am worthy of success. Oh, I am constantly growing and improving. 4. Surround yourself with reinforcement. Read books, follow people, and engage in habits that align with the new you. When you see yourself differently, everything changes. You stop settling for less and start creating the life you deserve. Rewriting your story. Your past beliefs do not define you. You are not bound by the limitations you once believed in. The moment you decide to challenge them, you take back your power. Here's what you've learned in this chapter. Your limiting beliefs are just stories. You can rewrite them. Self-doubt is not truth. It's fear disguised as logic. You can create a new identity by acting as the person you want to become. Now that you've cleared the mental roadblocks, it's time to strengthen your foundation. In the next chapter, we'll focus on resilience, the key to bouncing back stronger from life's challenges. Because once you believe in yourself, nothing can hold you back. Chapter 3: Building Resilience, Bouncing Back Stronger. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is built, brick by brick, through life's trials, setbacks, and disappointments. It is forged in the fire of hardship and shaped by the choices you make in response to adversity. Some people crumble under pressure, allowing their struggles to define them. Others rise, learning from their pain, adapting, and pushing forward with a strength they never knew they had. The difference between the two is not luck or talent. It is resilience. At some point, life will hit you hard. You will lose something you thought you couldn't live without. You will experience rejection, failure, heartbreak. You will question yourself, wondering if you have what it takes to keep going. In these moments, resilience is the force that allows you to stand back up, wipe away the dust, and take the next step. It is not about avoiding hardship, but learning how to thrive in its presence. Resilience is a mindset, a belief that no matter what happens, you are capable of moving forward. It is the refusal to be defined by pain, the willingness to find meaning in suffering, and the determination to keep going even when the road ahead is uncertain. The mindset of resilience, from victimhood to empowerment. There is a moment after every setback when you have to make a decision. Will you see yourself as a victim of circumstances, or will you take ownership of your response? It is easy to fall into the trap of victimhood, to believe that life is unfair and that nothing ever goes your way. But staying in that mindset keeps you powerless. True resilience begins the moment you decide to take control, no matter how much has been taken from you. The most resilient people are not the ones who have had an easy life. They are the ones who have faced hardship and refused to let it break them. They choose to believe that their struggles are not happening to them, but for them. They see failure not as an end, but as a lesson. They understand that pain is temporary, but the strength gained from overcoming it lasts forever. You can decide right now to stop waiting for life to be easy. It won't be. There will always be challenges, obstacles, and difficulties. But resilience is built when you face those challenges head-on, when you refuse to give up, when you push forward despite the weight on your shoulders. It is not about pretending to be strong all the time. It is about choosing to get up one more time than you fall. Embracing adversity, turning pain into power. Most people try to avoid pain at all costs. They run from discomfort, numb themselves with distractions, and resist change because it feels too overwhelming. But what if pain is not something to be feared? What if it is an invitation to grow? Every challenge carries a lesson. Every failure holds a seed of wisdom. The most resilient individuals are those who embrace adversity instead of running from it. They ask, what can this teach me? How can I use this to become stronger? Instead of seeing setbacks as roadblocks, they view them as stepping stones. Think about the most difficult moments in your life. At the time, they probably felt unbearable. But looking back, can you see how they shaped you? Can you recognize the strength you gained from enduring them? Pain has a way of revealing who we really are. It strips away the illusions, the excuses, the distractions, and forces us to confront our true selves. Growth happens in discomfort. Muscles do not strengthen without resistance, and neither do people. The next time you face a challenge, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, how can this make me better? That shift in perspective can change everything. Practicing self-compassion, the key to long-term resilience. Many people believe resilience is about toughness, about pushing through no matter what. But true resilience is not about never breaking. It is about knowing how to heal. And that begins with self-compassion. You will not always handle things perfectly. You will have days when you feel weak, when doubt creeps in, when you don't make the progress you hoped for. Resilience is not about beating yourself up in those moments. It is about giving yourself the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend. Self-compassion is not self-pity. It is not making excuses. It is the recognition that you are human, that growth is messy, and that you deserve patience along the way. It means allowing yourself to rest when you need to, forgiving yourself when you stumble, and reminding yourself that setbacks do not define you. One of the greatest acts of resilience is refusing to let negative self-talk take over. Instead of telling yourself, I'm not strong enough, say, I'm learning and improving every day. Instead of thinking, I'll never get through this, remind yourself, I have overcome hard things before, and I will again. The way you speak to yourself matters. Every time you choose self-compassion over self-criticism, you strengthen your ability to bounce back. You are not weak for struggling. You are strong for continuing despite the struggle. The strength to keep moving forward. Resilience is not something you wait to develop. It is something you build, day by day, decision by decision. It is the mindset that refuses to be defeated, the willingness to embrace challenges, and the practice of treating yourself with kindness along the way. The road ahead will not always be smooth, but you are stronger than you think. Every setback, every failure, every hardship is shaping you into the person you are meant to be. Do not fear the challenges ahead. Face them. Learn from them. Rise above them. You have already survived so much. You are still here, still standing, still fighting. That alone is proof of your resilience. Now, it is time to take that strength and use it to create the life you want. In the next chapter, we will explore how to rediscover your purpose, the fuel that will drive you forward as you rebuild yourself into the person you were always meant to be. Let's move forward. Chapter 4: Rediscovering Purpose, Finding Your Why. There comes a point in every rebuilding journey when you must ask yourself, why am I doing this? Without a clear reason to move forward, even the strongest efforts can feel empty. Purpose is what gives your journey meaning. It is the force that keeps you moving when obstacles arise, when progress feels slow, and when doubt whispers that giving up might be easier. Losing your sense of purpose can feel like drifting in an endless ocean, caught between where you've been and where you want to go. Maybe you once knew exactly what you wanted, but somewhere along the way, life knocked you off course. Maybe you've never truly felt connected to a purpose at all. Either way, this chapter is about finding or redefining your why. Purpose is not a single, grand revelation. It is not something you either have or don't. It is something you uncover, something you create. And it starts with asking yourself the right questions. The role of purpose in healing. When everything in your life feels broken, having a purpose can be an anchor. It gives you a reason to keep pushing forward, even when the road is unclear. Purpose is what turns pain into progress, what transforms struggles into stepping stones. Without it, even success can feel hollow. People who have a strong sense of purpose often have a deep well of resilience. They face the same struggles as everyone else, but they endure because they have something worth fighting for. Their why is greater than their pain. Think of the single parent who works multiple jobs because their purpose is providing a better future for their children. The athlete who trains relentlessly, fueled by a deep desire to prove to themselves what they're capable of. The survivor who turns their pain into a mission to help others heal. Your purpose does not have to be something massive. It does not have to change the world. It just has to matter to you. And if you don't know what your purpose is right now, that's okay. You're here to find it. Uncovering hidden passions, reigniting your inner spark. Finding purpose often starts with reconnecting to the things that make you feel alive. Too often, people lose touch with what excites them because they have spent years trying to meet expectations, survive hardships, or simply get through the day. But underneath the layers of routine, responsibility, and past disappointments, your passions are still there. If you're struggling to rediscover them, start by asking yourself these questions. What activities make me lose track of time? When have I felt the most fulfilled in my life? What did I love to do as a child before the world told me who I should be? If I had no fear of failure, what would I pursue? Or what kind of impact do I want to have on the world, or even just on the people around me? Sometimes, your purpose is hidden in the things you've always loved but abandoned. Other times, it emerges from the struggles you've faced. Many people find their deepest sense of purpose in overcoming their own hardships and using those experiences to help others. The person who battled depression and now advocates for mental health. The individual who once struggled financially and now teaches others how to build stability. The person who lost everything and rebuilt their life, inspiring others to do the same. If you've been feeling disconnected from your purpose, start small. Follow your curiosity. Try new things. Pay attention to what excites you, what moves you, what makes you feel something. Your purpose doesn't have to be perfectly defined right now. It just has to be something that pulls you forward, aligning your actions with your values. Discovering your purpose is only the first step. Living with purpose means making choices that align with what truly matters to you. It's about turning your values into action. Too many people live their lives on autopilot, doing what they think they should do rather than what actually fulfills them. They stay in jobs that drain them, relationships that don't support them, routines that leave them uninspired. They wonder why they feel lost, not realizing that every choice they make is taking them further from their true self. To rebuild a meaningful life, you must align your daily actions with your deepest values. Start by asking yourself, what are the values that matter most to me? Am I making choices that reflect those values? If not, what needs to change? If family is your highest priority, are you spending enough time with your loved ones? If creativity fuels you, are you making space for it in your life? If personal growth excites you, are you pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone? Purpose is not just something you think about, it's something you live. This alignment does not happen overnight. It requires intentional decisions, small shifts, and sometimes big leaps. It means saying no to things that do not serve your greater vision, even when they are comfortable. It means being honest about what is working in your life and what isn't. But when your actions align with your purpose, life feels different. Challenges still come, but they don't shake you in the same way. You wake up with direction. You move forward with confidence. You feel connected to something bigger than yourself, breathing life into your rebuilding process. Purpose is what fuels the rebuilding process. It is what keeps you moving when motivation fades. It is what makes the hard work worth it. If you are still unsure about your purpose, do not panic. This is a journey, and you are exactly where you need to be. Stay curious. Pay attention to the things that make you feel alive. Start making choices that reflect your true priorities. Bit by bit, clarity will come. With purpose as your foundation, it is time to take the next step. The next chapter will guide you in turning your purpose into action, setting goals that will bring your vision to life. Because having a purpose is powerful, but taking action is what truly transforms your life. Chapter 5: Goal Setting, Creating a Plan for Change. You've started rebuilding yourself, rediscovering your purpose, and finding clarity on what truly matters to you. But without a plan, even the strongest sense of purpose can feel overwhelming. Dreams stay dreams unless they are broken down into concrete steps. This is where goal setting comes in. Goals are the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. They transform vague desires into something tangible. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not talent or luck. It's the ability to set a clear direction and take consistent action. Many people fail at goal setting because they either set unrealistic expectations, aim too broadly, or get discouraged when progress feels slow. This chapter is about changing that. You will learn how to set effective goals, break them into manageable steps, and stay motivated through the ups and downs of your journey. By the end of this chapter, you won't just have a vision for your future, you'll have a plan to make it happen. Smart goals in action, setting yourself up for success. One of the biggest mistakes people make when setting goals is being too vague. Saying, "I want to be healthier," or "I want to be successful," sounds great, but what does that actually mean? How will you know when you've achieved it? This is why SMART goals are essential. What are SMART goals? SMART is an acronym for a goal-setting framework that makes your objectives clear and achievable. S, specific, define exactly what you want to accomplish. Instead of "I want to be healthier," say, "I will exercise for 30 minutes, 5 times a week." M, measurable, attach a way to track your progress. Instead of "I want to save money," say, "I will save $200 per month." Achievable, make sure your goal is realistic. Instead of "I want to run a marathon next month with no training," start with "I will run 3 times a week and build up to a marathon over 6 months. R, relevant, align your goal with your purpose. If your passion is writing, setting a goal to become a top salesperson might not be the right fit for you. T, time-bound, give yourself a deadline. Instead of "I will write a book someday," say, "I will complete my first draft within 6 months." Example of SMART goal transformation. Cross mark, "I want to get in shape." White heavy check mark, "I will go to the gym 3 days a week and walk 10,000 steps daily for the next 3 months." Cross mark, "I want to start a business." White heavy check mark, "I will launch my business website within 60 days and secure my first paying client within 90 days. By making your goals SMART, you create a plan that is not just inspiring, but actionable. The power of microsteps, breaking big goals into small actions. One of the main reasons people give up on their goals is that they feel too big, too intimidating, or too far away. The key to overcoming this is microsteps, breaking your goal into small, achievable actions that move you forward without overwhelming you. Why microsteps work? They reduce anxiety by making the process feel manageable. They create momentum, allowing you to celebrate small wins along the way. They keep you consistent, which is the key to long-term success. How to break goals into microsteps. 1. Start with the end in mind. What does success look like? 2. Work backward. What are the key milestones you need to hit? 3. Break milestones into daily or weekly tasks. What can you do today to move forward? Example, writing a book. Instead of saying, "I need to write 50,000 words, break it down. Outline the chapters week 1. Write 500 words per day daily task. Complete a rough draft in 10 weeks milestone. When goals feel too big, they become easy to avoid. But when they are broken down, progress feels achievable. Overcoming procrastination, staying consistent and motivated. Even with the best goals and microsteps, motivation will fade. Life gets busy, distractions arise, and self-doubt creeps in. This is why discipline, not just motivation, is what ensures success. Why do we procrastinate? Fear of failure. What if I try and fail? Perfectionism. It's not good enough yet, so I'll wait. Overwhelm. There's too much to do, so I'll do nothing. A lack of immediate results. I don't see progress yet, so why bother? How to overcome procrastination. 1. Use the 5-minute rule. If a task feels overwhelming, commit to doing just 5 minutes. Often, getting started is the hardest part. 2. Create a routine. Set a specific time each day for working on your goal. Habits reduce reliance on motivation. 3. Make it public. Tell someone about your goal or find an accountability partner. When others know, you're more likely to follow through. 4. Track your progress. Use a journal, app, or checklist to see how far you've come. Small wins keep you going. 5. Reward yourself. Celebrate progress, no matter how small. This keeps you motivated for the long run. The people who succeed are not necessarily the most talented or motivated. They are the ones who keep showing up, even on days they don't feel like it. A clear path forward. You now have the tools to turn your vision into a plan. By setting SMART goals, breaking them into micro steps, and staying consistent despite procrastination, you create a blueprint for success. This is where rebuilding yourself becomes real. No more vague dreams, only clear, actionable steps that will lead to change. The next chapter takes this process even deeper. Because as you build your future, one of the most powerful things you can do is let go of the past. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to release old pain, mistakes, and regrets so that you can move forward fully and freely. Let's take that next step. Chapter 6: Letting Go of the Past. The past has a way of clinging to us. Sometimes it's a quiet whisper, a lingering regret that surfaces in the still moments of the night. Other times, it's a heavy presence shaping our choices, our thoughts, and even our identity. We carry old wounds, past mistakes, and the echoes of things we wish we could undo. But holding on to the past is like walking forward with a rope tied around your waist, the other end tethered to something unmovable. No matter how hard you try to move forward, you can only go so far before you are yanked back. Rebuilding yourself requires cutting that rope. It means loosening your grip on what was so you can fully embrace what is and what can be. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It does not mean pretending that the past did not shape you. It means refusing to let it control you. In this chapter, we will explore what it truly means to release the past, through forgiveness, emotional healing, and a commitment to rewriting your story. Because the future you are building cannot thrive under the weight of old pain. Forgiving yourself and others, the door to freedom. Forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood concepts in personal growth. Many believe that to forgive is to excuse, to condone, or to allow someone back into their lives. But forgiveness is not about the other person, it is about you. It is about releasing the resentment that keeps you trapped. There is a story of a prisoner who spent years locked away, reliving every moment that led to his downfall. When the day of his release finally arrived, he stepped outside the prison walls only to realize that the real bars were the ones in his mind. He had been freed, but he was still carrying the weight of his past. This is what happens when we refuse to forgive. We hold on to anger, pain, and bitterness, believing it protects us when, in reality, it only keeps us shackled. And then there is self-forgiveness, the hardest and most necessary of all. We are often our own worst critics, replaying past mistakes, punishing ourselves long after the world has moved on. But the truth is, you cannot rebuild yourself while clinging to a version of you that no longer exists. Forgiveness is a choice, one you may have to make over and over again. It does not mean forgetting, and it does not require reconciliation. It simply means choosing your peace over your pain, healing emotional wounds, releasing what no longer serves you. Pain, when left unprocessed, doesn't just disappear. It settles into the body, into the mind, into the spaces between who you are and who you want to be. If you do not release it, it will shape your decisions, your relationships, your sense of self. Healing is not passive. It does not happen simply because time has passed. It is a process, an intentional effort to confront the pain, sit with it, and then let it go. Some wounds are fresh, raw, just beneath the surface. Others have been buried so deep that they have become part of the foundation you stand on. No matter their size, they require acknowledgement before they can be released. There are many ways to process and heal. Writing your thoughts in a journal, allowing yourself to see them clearly. Speaking to someone who can hold space for your pain, a therapist, a friend, or even yourself in the quiet moments of reflection. Meditation or breath work, allowing your body to release what your mind has clung to for too long. Choosing to change the meaning of past events, recognizing that while they shaped you, they do not have to define you. Healing does not happen overnight. It is not a single moment of release but a series of choices, to confront, to feel, to let go. Some days will be easier than others. Some wounds may take longer to close. But every effort you make to heal brings you closer to freedom. Breaking free from the past, stepping into the present. There is a moment in every journey where you must decide to stop looking back. To stop replaying conversations that cannot be changed. To stop giving energy to situations that no longer exist. To stop defining yourself by who you were instead of who you are becoming. The past will always be there. The memories, the lessons, even the scars. But it is not where you are meant to live. Imagine driving a car while staring at the rearview mirror the entire time. You would crash. Life works the same way. Looking back serves a purpose. It helps you learn. But if you stay fixated on what's behind you, you will miss everything that lies ahead. To break free from the past, you must choose to do so. That choice may be made 1,000 times, in 1,000 little ways. It may mean setting boundaries with people who keep dragging you into old versions of yourself. It may mean changing your internal dialogue, refusing to label yourself by past mistakes. It may mean creating a new vision so compelling that it pulls you forward with more force than the past pulls you back. The past only holds power when you keep giving it your attention. Shift your focus and watch how quickly the weight begins to lift. Moving forward unburdened. Letting go is an act of self-liberation. It is not easy. It requires courage, patience, and a willingness to step into the unknown. But every ounce of effort you put into releasing the past frees you to fully embrace the future you are building. You cannot rewrite history, but you can choose how it shapes you moving forward. You can learn from it, grow from it, and then finally set it down. As you continue this journey of rebuilding yourself, the next step is to reinforce your transformation with habits and routines that support your growth. Letting go of the past clears space. Now it is time to fill that space with actions that move you forward. The next chapter will guide you in creating a life that sustains the person you are becoming. Because healing is not just about releasing, it is about replacing, rebuilding, and rising. Chapter 7: Building Positive Habits. Every day you make choices, some intentional, others automatic. These choices shape your reality, determining whether you move closer to the person you want to be or remain stuck in old patterns. While motivation can spark change, it is your habits that determine whether that change lasts. Habits are powerful because they operate beneath the surface of our conscious awareness. They are the routines we follow without thinking, the small actions that accumulate over time to create massive results. The truth is, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. Rebuilding yourself requires more than just a vision. It requires the discipline to put systems in place that reinforce that vision every single day. Whether it's the way you start your mornings, how you handle stress, or the way you approach your work and relationships, your habits shape your future more than anything else. This chapter is about taking control of those habits, understanding how they are formed, how to replace the ones that no longer serve you, and how to stay consistent even when motivation fades. Because transformation is not a single act, it is a collection of daily choices repeated over time. The habit loop: how habits are formed and changed. All habits, good or bad, follow the same neurological pattern. This is known as the habit loop, which consists of 3 key elements. 1. Cue: trigger the event or situation that initiates the habit. 2. Routine: behavior, the actual habit or action. 3. Reward: the benefit your brain associates with the habit, reinforcing it. For example, let's say every evening you come home from work feeling stressed. Cue: stress after work. Routine: grabbing junk food and scrolling through social media. Reward: temporary comfort and distraction. Over time, this loop becomes automatic. You may not even realize you're doing it. The same cycle applies to every habit you have, whether it's hitting snooze in the morning, reaching for a cigarette, or biting your nails when anxious. How to change a habit? To break a bad habit, you don't just stop doing it. You must replace it with a better one. The key is to keep the cue and reward the same, but change the routine in between. 1. Identify the cue. What triggers the habit? A time of day? An emotion? A specific situation? 2. Replace the routine. Find a healthier behavior that provides a similar reward. 3. Make the reward satisfying. Reinforce the new habit by making it enjoyable or meaningful. Using the earlier example. Cue: stress after work. New routine: going for a 10-minute walk and listening to music. New reward: feeling relaxed and accomplished. By intentionally designing your habits, you take control of the behaviors shaping your life. Replacing toxic patterns, swapping the negative for the positive. Many of the habits holding you back were not consciously chosen. They were picked up over time. Responses to stress, coping mechanisms, routines formed out of convenience rather than intention. But just as these habits were created, they can be unlearned. The first step in replacing toxic habits is awareness. Start by asking yourself, what daily actions are moving me away from the person I want to be? What habits drain my energy, lower my confidence, or keep me stuck? What small shifts could I make that would lead to a better version of myself? Once you've identified habits that need to change, focus on creating habit swaps, replacing negative behaviors with constructive ones. Examples of habit swaps. Instead of hitting snooze 5 times, start placing your alarm across the room. Instead of mindlessly scrolling social media before bed, start reading 10 pages of a book. Instead of reacting to stress with unhealthy food, start taking deep breaths or stretching for 5 minutes. The key is gradual replacement. If you try to change everything overnight, it will feel overwhelming. Start small, replacing one habit at a time, and let the momentum build. Consistency over perfection, the key to lasting change. Most people fail at building new habits not because they aren't capable, but because they expect perfection. They start strong, miss a day or two, then tell themselves they've failed and give up entirely. But habits are not about perfection, they are about persistence. The truth is, you will slip up. You will have days where you don't follow through. That does not mean you failed. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. Successful people get back on track as quickly as possible. How to stay consistent, even when it's hard. Lower the bar. Make your habits so small that skipping them feels ridiculous. If your goal is to exercise daily, commit to just 5 minutes at first. 5 minutes is better than nothing. Use the 2-day rule. Never let yourself skip a habit 2 days in a row. If you miss a day, make it a priority to get back on track the next. Track your progress. Use a journal, app, or even a simple calendar to mark the days you stick to your habits. Seeing your streak grow keeps you motivated. Forgive yourself and keep going. A single missed day means nothing in the grand scheme of your transformation. What matters is your long-term commitment. Habits are not about being perfect. They are about showing up for yourself, even in small ways, every single day. Designing a life that supports your growth. Your habits define your future. Every small decision you make, every daily routine you establish, is either working for you or against you. The beauty of this realization is that you control it. You are not stuck with your current habits. You have the power to reshape them, to create a life that aligns with your goals, your values, and your vision. By understanding how habits are formed, replacing toxic patterns with positive ones, and prioritizing consistency over perfection, you set yourself up for lasting success. The next step in your journey is ensuring that the people around you support your transformation. In the next chapter, we will explore how your environment, particularly the relationships you cultivate, can either propel you forward or hold you back. Because while internal habits shape who you are, external influences determine how far you can go. Let's build a support system that strengthens the person you are becoming. Chapter 8. Surrounding yourself with the right people. Imagine for a moment that you are climbing a mountain. The journey is difficult, the air gets thinner the higher you go, and every step forward requires effort. Now picture 2 different scenarios. In the first, you are surrounded by people who encourage you, who push you forward when your legs are shaking, who remind you why you started climbing in the first place. In the second, you are burdened by people who doubt you, who tell you the mountain is too high, who place rocks in your backpack instead of lifting you up. Which group do you think will help you reach the top? The people in your life shape your reality more than you may realize. Your relationships influence your mindset, your habits, and even your sense of self-worth. Whether you are aware of it or not, the people you surround yourself with are either helping you grow or keeping you stuck. Rebuilding yourself is not just about changing your thoughts or your habits. It is also about changing your environment, and that includes the people who occupy your space. This chapter is about recognizing which relationships nourish you and which ones drain you, how to find people who align with your growth, and how to set boundaries that protect your energy. Because no matter how strong you are, the company you keep will either propel you forward or anchor you to the past. Evaluating your current relationships, who lifts you and who holds you back. It is not always easy to admit when a relationship is no longer serving you. Sometimes we hold on to people out of loyalty, nostalgia, or fear of being alone. But the truth is, not everyone is meant to go with you to the next chapter of your life. Take a moment to think about the people in your life. When you spend time with them, do you leave feeling inspired, supported, and energized? Or do you feel drained, discouraged, and stuck in the same patterns? There are 3 types of people who tend to hold us back. 1. The doubters. These are the people who project their own fears onto you. They tell you your dreams are unrealistic, not because they truly know your potential, but because they are afraid to take risks themselves. 2. The drainers. These people take more than they give. They always need support, but rarely offer any in return. Their presence feels exhausting rather than uplifting. 3. The anchors. These are the people who are stuck in their own cycles and want you to stay there with them. They resist your growth because it makes them uncomfortable. Letting go of toxic relationships is not about blaming or resenting others. It is about recognizing that you are responsible for your own energy, and sometimes that means stepping away from people who are not aligned with your future. Not everyone in your life has to be removed, but some relationships may need to shift. Some people who once fit into your life may no longer be the right fit for where you are headed. And that's okay. Growth often requires letting go, finding your tribe, surrounding yourself with the right people. When you begin to change, you may notice something. Not everyone will understand your journey. Some will support you wholeheartedly, while others may resist or question it. This is why finding the right people, your tribe, is essential. Your tribe consists of those who inspire, challenge, and uplift you. They are the ones who see your potential, even when you doubt yourself. They push you forward, hold you accountable, and celebrate your progress. But how do you find them? It starts with putting yourself in the right environments. If you want to be around motivated, growth-minded individuals, go where they are. Attend events, workshops, or online communities that align with your interests. Join a mastermind group, take a class, or engage in discussions where people are striving for similar goals. Beyond that, you must also be the kind of person you want to attract. If you want to be around positive, driven, and supportive people, embody those qualities yourself. Energy attracts energy. When you commit to growth, you will naturally draw others who are on a similar path. And most importantly, do not be afraid to let go of relationships that no longer serve you. You cannot make space for the right people if you are still holding on to the wrong ones. The friendships and connections that truly belong in your life will support your evolution, not resist it. The role of boundaries, protecting your energy. One of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is to establish boundaries, clear, firm lines that protect your energy and well-being. Without boundaries, you risk being pulled into other people's negativity, expectations, or toxic cycles. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about defining what you will and will not allow in your life. They are an act of self-respect. If someone constantly drains you with their negativity, set a limit on how much time you spend with them. If a friend or family member dismisses your growth, establish a boundary around discussing certain topics with them. If someone makes you feel small, distance yourself. The people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. Those who don't respect them were likely benefiting from your lack of them. You do not owe anyone unlimited access to your energy. You have the right to protect your peace, to choose who gets a place in your life, and to walk away from those who do not align with the person you are becoming. Creating an environment for growth. The company you keep is one of the greatest influences on your success, your mindset, and your overall well-being. If you surround yourself with negativity, self-doubt, and stagnation, it will be nearly impossible to grow. But when you place yourself in an environment that nurtures your progress, your transformation becomes unstoppable. As you continue rebuilding yourself, take a moment to reflect on the relationships in your life. Who inspires you? Who holds you back? What changes need to be made to ensure that the people around you are lifting you higher, not keeping you down? The final chapter of this journey will tie everything together. Now that you have done the work to heal, to set goals, to build habits, and to surround yourself with the right people, it is time to step fully into the person you were meant to be. This is about more than just rebuilding. It is about becoming the best version of yourself. Let's step into that final transformation. Chapter 9. Becoming the best version of you. Rebuilding yourself is not a destination. It is a continuous process. The person you are today is stronger, wiser, and more resilient than the person who started this journey. But growth does not stop here. The best version of you is not a fixed point in time. It is something you refine and expand upon every single day. This final chapter is about acknowledging how far you have come, committing to lifelong growth, and embracing the role you now play, not just in your own life, but in the lives of those around you. Your transformation does not only impact you, it has the power to inspire and uplift others as well. As you step forward into this next chapter of your life, carry with you the lessons, the strength, and the mindset that have brought you here. You are no longer just rebuilding, you are creating, evolving, and thriving. Reflecting on your progress, how far you've come. Before you focus on what comes next, take a moment to acknowledge everything you have already achieved. The process of rebuilding yourself is not easy. It takes courage, consistency, and resilience. You have faced challenges, broken old patterns, let go of the past, and built new habits that align with the person you want to become. That deserves recognition. How to reflect on your progress. A look back at where you started. What challenges felt impossible before that you have now overcome? Recognize the changes in your mindset. How do you respond to obstacles now compared to before? Celebrate small wins. Even the smallest shifts, like setting boundaries, taking care of your health, or thinking more positively, are victories. Write down 3 things you are proud of. Give yourself credit for the work you have done. Too often, we focus on what we haven't accomplished yet, rather than appreciating the progress we have made. But progress is a series of small steps, each one leading you closer to your full potential. You are not the same person who began this journey. Acknowledge that. Commitment to lifelong growth. Keep evolving. Personal growth does not end when you reach a goal. If anything, each milestone opens the door to new possibilities. The best version of you is not a fixed identity. It is an ever-evolving state of being. How to stay committed to growth. 1. Keep setting goals. Growth happens when you continue striving toward new challenges. 2. Stay curious. Read books, seek knowledge, and expose yourself to new perspectives. 3. Step outside your comfort zone. Growth requires discomfort. Seek experiences that challenge you. 4. Surround yourself with people who elevate you. Never stop building relationships that inspire and push you forward. 5. Prioritize self-care. Physical, mental, and emotional well-being are essential for long-term growth. 6. Embrace failure as a teacher. Every setback is an opportunity to learn and improve. 7. Practice gratitude. Appreciating where you are will keep you grounded as you continue evolving. You are not just rebuilding yourself for now. You are laying the foundation for a lifetime of growth, resilience, and self-improvement. Leaving a legacy, your growth inspires others. Transformation does not exist in isolation. When you commit to becoming your best self, you naturally influence those around you. Whether you realize it or not, your journey is setting an example. Your resilience, your mindset shifts, and your personal breakthroughs create a ripple effect. Ways to inspire others through your growth. A lead by example. The best way to encourage others to grow is to embody growth yourself. Share your story. Your struggles and victories can help someone else feel less alone. Support others on their journeys. Be a mentor, a guide, or simply a source of encouragement. A give back. Use your experience to contribute positively, whether through teaching, volunteering, or uplifting your community. Alive authentically. When you show up as your true self, you give others permission to do the same. Your transformation does not just change you, it has the power to change the world around you. Never underestimate the impact you can have simply by choosing to grow. Your new beginning. Rebuilding yourself is not just about overcoming the past, it is about creating the future. You have done the work to heal, to change, to grow. Now the question is, what will you do with this new version of yourself? This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a new chapter, one where you are fully in control, where you make choices that align with your values, where you continue evolving into the best version of yourself. Keep moving forward. Keep growing. Keep building a life that reflects who you truly are. The journey is yours to continue. Make it extraordinary.